going downstream, right? And this is a crazy freaking story. I gotta finish this story. It's a fantastic story. Can't believe I've never told this story. This is a freaking good story. In my opinion, this is one of the craziest, coolest stories you ever hear. Where I'm going with this. So we do go down river, right? And so these guys had some ecstasy, right? They had brought 3 ecstasy pills. I had never taken ecstasy. I don't even think I'd ever seen ecstasy at that point. No, yes, I had. Yeah. I wasn't that young. I saw a lot of ecstasy about that time, actually. It was a big thing because right after that, I was doing my after hours or the rave parties. Lots of ecstasy in there. So I'd never done it, though. So they said, you want to do, an ecstasy and let's go fishing. So the next day, we stayed in this nice cabin. It was real nice. And the next day, we go fishing, right? We each pop a hit of ecstasy. It's a nice day. It's like 50 degrees. Not sunny, but not cold. Kind of comfortable. It did end up raining a little bit, but it was a warm rain. Now it was warmer than that. It must have been 60, 70 degrees. The rain didn't bother us. Everybody left because of the rain, and it left us with the river. But there was salmon all over the place up and down the river. Not crazy salmon like up by the dam, but you could see them here and you could see them there, and they're on a bed here and they're on a bed there. It's a big river. It's kind of hard to fish, but you can poke in and out of there and get spots and wade most of it along the shore. So there was a couple good spots, and we were catching fish. We were like hooking fish line. I taught these guys how to snag. Dude, I got to tell this whole freaking story, man. I turned these guys out. They were legal salmon fishermen. By the time I was done with them, they were full blown just snagging the F away. Listen to how gangster we were. At one point, you walk up and there's this high bank and you're up like freaking 15 feet, right? And you can look down into the river and you can see where the salmon are. But down, if you're in the river, down by the river, you can't see them. Because from the angle. Because up there you can see them. But so you have to have Polaroid glasses, by the way. You have to have Polaroid. Without Polaroid glasses, you just stay home. You're not going fishing. You can't see them. But if you got the Polaroid glasses, you can see them. So here's what I told my boys I'm going to do. I'm like, listen, man. You guys sit up there. Watch this. Stand up there and tell me where to cast. What do you mean? 1 o'clock at 30 feet out? They're like, yeah, all right. But so I said, I get down there. Where are they at? Because there's like a pod, like 5 salmon in the front of this hole, and there's like a log jam. And he's like, so I'm like, all right, where are they at? He's like, 30 feet out, 10 or at 1:30. So I'm like, phew. And then they're like, I start reeling it like this. They're like, all right, let it drop. All right, pull. Boom. And like about every third try, I get a fish. And I'm like, there he is. Get him. Fly up. Because you can see what we would do is put some orange, like yarn or orange, like spawn thing on your hook. So these guys could see exactly where it was. So they tell me, and boom. So I hook a fish and I land it. And I say, all right, it's your turn. You come down here. And then we do it. And then one of them would do it. And they're having a ball, man. And so we took turns rotating, just bam, bam, bam. There are other fish, other spots. We're all around. And, well, at one point while we were doing that, freaking, I can hear some old, it was my turn. I was down. And I hear some old man talking, like down. And I hear him going, oh, no, you got to cast it like an angle of 40 degrees. It's an old man. You can tell he's instructing somebody, just probably being a freaking old man, And I can hear him because it's really quiet. But he's probably 75 yards away. And so my boys are like, yo, here comes someone. Here comes an old man. And the guy walks up, and my boys are like watching me down here. And the old man walks up about 15 yards in front of them, kind of leans against the tree, and he's watching me. And I'm casting, doing legal stuff at first. But I basically know where the salmon are based on, what they've been telling me. And I've been watching them too. We've been fishing this hole for 20 minutes. And I know it. So I'm just, after he just sits there watching me. I'm like, hey, how you doing, man? He's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, any luck? And I'm like, yeah, we got a few. And he's like, and I cast, and he's like, oh, no, you got to cast out there like 40 degrees, and then we'll do with the current, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and then I ignore him, just keep, and I finally was like snagging. I tell myself, listen, I'm on vacation, man. I don't give a crap about this old man. I mean, he ain't gonna ruin my day. I'm on ecstasy. First time I'd ever been on ecstasy, and it was nice. I tell this old man, I try snagging this, and I go, try to fish, and I throw another cast, and I'm like, and he's like, the guy says, hey, you're snagging. I'm like, and this is when I was like, hey man, listen, bro, this is exactly what I said, exactly. I said, hey man, listen, bro, I said, I'm on vacation, bro. I know I'm snagging. I don't care. If you want to go report that, you want to do whatever you want to do with that. I know. It's a salmon. It's going to die. Thing's going up the river to die. It ain't going to spawn in this river. It's stockfish. I said, I'm going to catch it. Snagging. If you don't like that, keep walking. I don't know what to tell you. And the man goes, oh, that's it. I'm going to go report you to the DNR. I said, well, good luck, man. Hurry up. No. So he probably did, but we didn't even leave. We didn't leave. I left. A few minutes later, we went down this hill. We were a little rattled by that, but not too bad. And there was these guys fishing. There's like 3 guys fishing. It was a nice stretch. There was rapids and there was a bunch of fish. And this old man, real handsome old man, like you could tell he was like an old lawyer or business owner or maybe a doctor or something. He's standing like down the river from me, about 25 yards, at the head of like this like, I don't know, head of this rift where there was a bunch of salmon, and this maybe 25-yard stretcher to like 10 salmon. And we just, everybody kind of trying to catch them, snag them legally, like catching them, because then when you got that many witnesses, you tend to just kind of do it legal, but maybe give it a jerk or think you got something on or whatever. And everybody's doing it, what I'm saying? That way, when the DNR, if they come down, they can't just say you're blatantly slagging. And there was 2 guys over here, and there was me, and I was on this ecstasy. And I remember being at that moment saying to myself, the ecstasy is not that like crazy strong or potent. I don't really feel much from it, but I do feel nice, and it's kind of a relaxing, mellow buzz, if you will. I mean, it's cool. I'm having a nice time. It's a good day. And right about that time, some dude walks down the hill and then jumps into the river, and I'm not paying attention. I'm just trying to fish. And then the next thing I know, I hear kaboosh, splash, boosh, boosh, boosh. I look, and the old man that was down there, and then I say old, I say like 50, which is how old I am now. So imagine, this guy is probably about my age, a little bit older than me, maybe. He had grayish hair, but anyways, he's in the river, like trying to, like flopping around because his waders are filled with water, and he's, half drowning. Once you fall in the water and waders, the water goes in, and then it's like, now you're just freaking turned into a 500-pound anchor, and then, so you gotta get out of the waders. The only way, if you're in water over your head, you're drowning. You just got to pop out of the waders and whatever. But this guy was flopping and rolling. The water was only like 2 feet deep, but he was soaked. He's got a fishing pole in his hand. He's got like a net in his hand, crashing down the river. And I'm sitting there right there, and I'm watching him, and the current is washing him right down to me, And I'm like, right when he gets about to where I am, he kind of right in front of me a little bit, and he's kind of steadies himself, got on his hands and knees, and I said, well, that'll wake you up. That's what I said. I didn't know what to say. Everybody's looking. I'm like, that'll wake you up. I said, come here. And I grab his hand, and I help him get up, right? And his waders are all filled with water. And he says, man, did you hear what that dude said to me? And I said, what do you mean? What did he say to you? He said, he comes walking up. He taps me on the shoulder and says, all right, man, I'll take my spot back. You can have it done. You can have it back when I'm done. I said, I looked at this mother. I said, he told you that? He's like, yeah. And he's like, when I was so rattled when I went to move, like tripped on a freaking rock and fell in. That's what he told me. I was like, damn, bro, that guy said that to you? And then I got really mad, real mad. I said, man, I wish that mother effer would say that to me. I wish that mother effer would come down here and tell me I'm in his spot. I wish that mother, I'll beat that mother. I'm going off. I beat that mother up his ass. He's still down. Come down here and tell me it's your spot. Please come down here and tell me I'm in your spot. He kept looking and then looking away, looking at me. He's not talking to me. Guy's only 30 feet away from me. I was letting him have it. This poor old man, freaking walk up, taps him, says, yo, get out of my spot. You can have it when I'm done. Man, I would have knocked his teeth out. And no joke, if that dude was me, and he had turned around and told me that, I said, it's your spot. You can have it done. Okay. I would freaking knock his teeth right out. Wham. That's the trip to the dentist, boy. He woke up in the bushes going, what happened? Where's my teeth? Freaking talking about you can have your spot, man. I will slap the shit. I'll wake you up so I can knock you out again. I ain't playing. Anyway, so this story, not over. One of the most interesting stories that ever happened to me, I think. I don't know why. So we go into town, and we go back to the cabin, right? So I'm out of weed. I gotta hurry up and tell you the story. It's raining. We got another day and a half left before we go. It's raining. There's nobody in the campground. It's like a Wednesday afternoon. You know what I'm saying? It's just, Nobody there. And the campground has 2 cabins. We have one, and somebody else had some other one. I'm gonna find them in a minute. And I told these guys, "You're never gonna believe this, man. You're never going to believe this. No, nobody would. You won't believe it." So I smoked up all my weed. I didn't have any weed left, and they had liquor, and they liked to drink. They were drinking, and I'm like, "Yo, it's raining, and nobody's in this campground. I mean, you're not gonna believe this story. You're not gonna believe it. Never gonna believe it." I walk out of I opened the door and I said, "Listen, I'm going to find some weed." And they looked at me like I was nuts. And they're like, "Dude, what are you talking about? Where are you gonna find some weed?" You're not gonna believe it. I'm telling you. I said, "Bro," I just said, "Don't worry about it. I'm gonna find some weed." You're not gonna believe it. They said, "Okay, that's crazy." I'm sure that sounded very crazy. There's nobody in this campground. It's like it's like mid-October, cold, rainy, drizzly, and nobody's around. As I walk out of the campground, I walk out of the back door of our cabin. It kind of walks around a little trail that goes to the road. There's the other cabins over here. I see this little pickup truck driving. No idea what makes me do this. I just start running after it. I'm like, "Hey, running. Hey, I get running right up next to it. They couldn't see me because they kind of came from behind. I run back, I'm like, hey. And they pull over, like, "What the frick is going on?" I knocked. I said, boom, 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 boom. They're like, "What the frick?" And I said, yo. "You guys got any weed?" Not joking. "You guys got some weed?" Oh my goodness, man. Who does that? Who the frick does that? Well, I'll tell you. The guy driving. So it was an older guy who was probably in his 40s with 2 younger kids in their 20s. I figured it was a father and sons. That's what I figured, which it was. And when I said that, I kind of half realized what I just said and how crazy it sounds. But he's like, "Look, how much you talking about?" And I'm like, "Dude, anything. I don't even care, bro. Listen, I'm out of weed. That's literally what I said. That's exactly verbatim. I said, "I don't even care, bro. I'm just out of weed. I'm up here. I got another day and a half left, man. Just a joint, couple joints, something to get me through the next couple of days, bro. You got my boys are drinking. I don't drink, so I smoke weed." And the guy says, "All right, man. We're in the cabin behind you." It's like, we're heading to town, but whatever. Freaking, we'll go back in my cabin. So he goes and parks, pulls back over, goes in his cabin. A guy goes in his back room, comes out, got the big freaking bag of weed, big bag, like an ounce, and goes, he's like, "How much do you want?" I'm like, "Oh, bro, whatever. Anything you want to sell, whatever, want to give, I don't care." So he's like, "Well, here, man, give me." He's like, "We grow it." And it wasn't like no homegrown like garbage weed either. Back in the day, most of the homegrown was garbage. As soon as he said we grow it, I'm like, "Yeah, it's probably garbage." But it wasn't. It was like good. It was good weed, just like we'd have today. And so they knew what the hell they were doing, obviously. And it was him and his kids. They grow it. What are the odds? What the frick are the odds that I'm gonna walk out of my cabin and literally the first car I see in 5 seconds of the truck, and I run over and go, "Yo!" And they stop. I was like, "Man, you guys got any weed?" And they're like, "Yeah, well, we grow weed. Step inside, and here's a freaking quarter ounce for $10." The guy gets a kid, and then he says, "Roll one up, we'll smoke one." And we smoked one, and I couldn't even finish it. They're like, "Just keep it." It was a blunt, bro. It was a huge fat joint, and we got halfway done, and we were all just like, I don't want any more. "You want any more?" I want like that. Keep it. So he gave me like a quarter ounce of weed for like $10 and that roach. So I rolled a couple of joints because I didn't have any papers, and they gave me papers. So I rolled a couple of joints, and that's would be all I'd need for the next day and a half. And then put the rest in the bag, whatever, and thanked them guys. But before they left, they say, "Hey, listen, man, you've been down to the freaking the mouth of the, I think it was like, what was the creek? Pine Creeks." He said, "You've been in the mouth of the Pine Creeks down by Applegate Road, the old campground." I'm like, "Nah, what's there?" He's like, "Dude, we've been there for the last couple of days. It's killing it, man. Killing it. You got to climb down this huge hill." He's like, "But dude, there's a hole where these little creeks dump into the main river, these cold water creeks, and the salmon love that cold water. And when the salmon are coming up the river to spawn, they hit this like hole right there underneath this cold water creek, and they love it. And they stage, and there's like hundreds of them out there." And I'd never known that. So I was like, "What are the directions? Give me the directions." Give me directions. So I'm trying to get directions, but he gives them to me mentally. Right? And I'm stoned, super stoned. So I didn't write them down or nothing. The directions here, you got to go there. I'm like, man, dude, I'm super baked, but it sounds great. He's like, bro, we hooked 100 fish there. There's nobody there. He's like, we only saw one other guy the other day, and that was in a boat. He came through in a boat, fished a hole and left. He's like, dude, it was chaos. Every cast, there's like hundreds of them. I'm like, dude, this is my freaking dream hole. I'm like, where is it? And I'm all high, and I'm trying to get directions. This is not my river. I don't know the area. These other dudes, they brought me up there. I don't know nothing. So I go back to I've been gone about 20 minutes. These two young kids, man, who don't really know me that well. I'm just a manager at the health club, and they kind of know I'm kind of a slick dude, street kind of guy, but they don't know what's up. They have no idea that I was doing gangster stuff. I was even basically extorting the guy who ran the gym, or was embezzling for my uncle, who owed a bunch of money for coke and dope and loan sharks and God knows what else. So I come back 20 minutes later, and I'm high as hell. I'm like, what up? And they're like, yo, where have you been? I'm like, I hooked up. They're like, get the frick out of here. I'm like, I'm telling you, I hooked up. Bam. Showed them the bag. They're like, how the hell did you find some weed out here? You've been gone 20 minutes and you come back with a freaking bag of weed, man? What the frick kind of fare you got, man? You got a little freaking great gazoo pop up. Bang. So they couldn't believe it. And I said, listen, they told me about a fishing spot, bro. It sounds like we got to get there, man. We got to get there. This is like a holy grail spot. And they're like, well, where is it? I'm like, I kind of have an idea. Pine Creek or something. I forgot, like, as he was telling me. So we went to town because we needed to get some hooks and stinkers and stuff like that. We were all out. And we went there, and there's a fly shop behind the main little bait store. There's nothing in this town. There's like 3 buildings. And one of them's a bait shop, one's a tackle shop. We went to the bait shop, or the tackle shop, the fly shop. And nobody's fly fishing this time of year, but the place was open. My boy needed to use the bathroom. So he's like, man, can I use the bathroom? And the guy's like, yeah. And then while my boy's using the bathroom, I started talking to the guy about these fish, these salmon that we're catching. Blah, blah, blah. And I get to telling him, like, I could tell he really likes me. I'm very articulate. I'm very curious. I'm asking him about various baits and methods and spawning and stockings and yada, yada, yada. The guy who owns this fly shop, he's really cool. And then I say, hey, man, you know anything about a Pine Creek that dumps in the freaking, dumps in the main branch down the river? You know how we can get there? And he kind of looks at me and goes, yo, who told you about that? Somebody told me about it. He's like, only locals know about that spot, or the river guys. The only locals and river guys know about that spot. I'm like, yeah, guy told me he was doing really good there. He's like, you'll do good there. And he says, I said, well, how'd I get there? He's like, let me write you a map. So he wrote me a map. And it really wasn't that hard, but I'm terrible with directions, terrible with names. I forget everything. So he wrote me a map, and we go down there. It's hard to get to, man. You got to go down this slick, muddy, huge, like, mountain, for about 300 yards. And it's tricky. I took my friend's mom down there one time. My friend's mom, my friend Buddy. His name is Buddy. It's a black dude. And his mom, black lady, she was like 65-year-old black lady. I helped her down this hill, taking her there to go steal that fishing. It was funny. I went with them to their cabin up there, same place. But anyways, we get down there, and it was crazy. That's the most salmon I'd ever seen in my life. I'd never seen that many salmon on National Geographic or something. There was, honestly, I could see probably 40 or 50 fish swimming around out here, but this hole right here is too dark to even see how many were in there. My guess was probably 25, 30 fish. So we would just cast in that hole with a treble hook and let it sink down there and just kind of pull and bang. You'd hook a fish every freaking pack. And they were mad. They had just come out of the river, out of the lake. They were fresh, all silver, just fresh silver fish, not a nick on them, and mad. We lost most of them. I actually blew up 2 of my reels. I brought 3 for that reason. I brought 3 reels. That's how bad salmon fight, man. If you don't have a good reel, which I have a good reel now, not a great one, but a good one. But if you had like a cheap reel or just a regular reel, you'll blow them apart. So I always brought 2 or 3 of these cheapies with me, man, and it did. We went through a whole like 300 yards of 30-pound test line. Went through 2 reels. Salmon were just going crazy, jumping and battling and flipping and flopping. Crap. There was this one guy, he had a boat, pulled up on a little boat, and he was like, I'll take you down river to catch your fish for a beer. So every time, these guys had beers. He's like, so every time you hook a fish, jump in the freaking boat and wing, go after it. It was fun, man. It was like you're out in the ocean trying to catch a marlin. The fish is down river jumping and wing. It's dark too, man. It's freaking scary on this freaking little boat in the dark trying to catch this big, huge fish flopping and banging. Yeah, it was fun. And so we fished there for a day and a half. And I think we caught like 25 fish, man, which is a lot of fish in a day and a half between us. I think we caught 25 fish. The one dude caught a male that was probably in the 35-pound range. At the time, it was one of the biggest fish, maybe the biggest fish I'd ever seen. Huge, just a big hook freaking jaw. The ones that got the big hook jaw and just gnarly, huge one. I mean, 35, could have been 40. It was the biggest fish I ever saw. I did catch a big female there. That was huge too. I caught a fish there that was so crazy. When I hooked it, it came like shooting at me like a torpedo and shot out of the river and flipped. And I had to duck it and it flew right by me into the bushes. Crazy. And like a torpedo too. You know, you might think it was flopping. It wasn't. It came straight at me and went and dropped. And in this air, it was still flopping. It was going. It went right by me. What do you think I did? Was like, yeah, landed. Nope. I kicked that sucker back in the river. Said, you ain't done fighting. Kicked him right back in there and went back to fight. My boys are like, why would you do that, man? You had him. Like, nah, I don't care about having him. I'm going to give him a chance. In fact, he got off. I let him go. He got off. Right when he was tired out, went to get him, he got off. I didn't give a crap, man. We had so many fish. We only kept like 10. How many salmon can you keep? 25 fish wouldn't even fit in the car, man. Anyways, I just thought that was kind of a funny story. Salmon, fishing, gladiator fishing. That's the reason why it's called gladiator fishing. I wonder how many people will actually listen to that story and enjoy it and think, wow, that was funny, entertaining story. Or they think just because it's not mafia or gangster related, that's, none of their interest. If it isn't, I feel bad for you. I'm not saying in a mean way. I'm just saying, that type of fishing fun is a matter to me. So, I mean, it's not for everybody. If it's not fun for you, then I'm not saying it should be, but I'm just saying it's too bad you just miss. Because if you actually are kind of an outdoor guy or a fishing guy and you kind of hear a story like that, yeah, I think, yeah, that was a freaking good time, man. Like, what are the odds, That was my life. It's always been kind of like that. I mean, all my life, it's a weird, strange, beyond calculable happenstances, happened in my life. We're just, things just can't happen like that. I fucking walked out of a cabin looking for some weed, took 5 steps, ran up to the first car I saw and said, yo, got some weed? And they're like, yeah, I got weed. Here you go. Basically free. I'm like, no way. It's beyond belief, but it happened. It is what it is. So, anyways, I got a lot of fishing stories, and I got a lot of hunting stories. Not really a lot of hunting stories, but I have a few. But I plan to make a lot more, and that's the one thing I want to tell you right now. This time of year, not recording. That's the thing about fishing. So I am not out fishing and recording videos and stuff. This summer, I will be. I will out trout fishing. I'm going to have some guests on the show. I'm taking guests salmon fishing. I'm taking Patreons. I'm going to be taking Patreon salmon fishing and trout fishing. Patreons on trout fishing and salmon fishing. And my boys, people, anyway, I'll make some show. But I really want to get some of my Patreons up here to fish with me. I think that would be dope. You know what I'm saying? Patreon, and make a show, have my Patreons catch their first brook trout, catch their first salmon. No, a big giant monster fish. I will get you to catch one. Everybody I've ever guided, you can look into that and ask anyone. There's people on here. If I take you salmon fishing, you best believe you will catch salmon. I'm the best salmon fishing you ever meet. I caught 50 salmon this year. 50 salmon in 10 days. 50. Actually, you know what? It was 55, I think. Could have been 50. Whatever the case, I got 20 on the last day. 20 salmon by myself on the last day. No net, just boom. It was the perfect storm. It was when the stars aligned. The stars aligned. I couldn't do nothing wrong. I could cast with my eyes shut and hook them. Boom. It was just like, it was crazy. Every cast was perfect. And it's hard. And I'm a professional. I could cast a spot. Like, I should be able to put my hook inside this cup at 25 yards, in the strain between sticks and crap. Boom. That's how good you got to be. Man, I could have stuck it in a medicine cabinet. I was good. Dang, 20 fish. A couple monsters too. Anyway, so if you like fishing, you'll probably hear a few more of these. And if you don't, well, then don't listen. You know what I'm saying? Listen to my other shows. I got them, but I'm going to be making more fishing ones. Let's say it's pretty soon when the weather breaks and I can get out there and go enjoy some weather. I'm going to take my dirt bike, put a backpack on, and then drive out into the wilderness, like way out there in his camp and spend the night fishing. I've never done that. Always wanted to do it. I was planning to do that at Camp Bigfoot, which is where I had the Sasquatch encounter. I was planning to go there and do that by myself. But I'm not going to lie, man. I'm spooked. I don't think I got it in me to go there by myself, spend the night. I don't. I'll be honest with you. That had supernatural things happen to me there, and I just wouldn't want to be there alone. I don't even want to be there ever, to be honest with you. I want to go steelhead fishing this year, but my wife said if we go there, well, bring Steve, my boy. He's a big lunatic. He's a big, tough guy lunatic with a gun. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, listen to the video. Listen to my Sasquatch video. I'm telling you, I don't think I wouldn't want to be out there without a gun. My perfect, honest answer. When you hear the video, you understand why. I'm not crazy. I'm sane as anybody else, that's for sure. And what happened to me was legit. So I don't know. For now, God bless. Hope you liked the video. Make sure you like the video. If you didn't like the video, then don't like the video. But if you have, like it, make sure you subscribe. That's my PSA part of this show. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you're not getting notifications, unsubscribe right now. It takes 1 second. Boop, boom, unsubscribe. Hit subscribe again. Ring the bell again. Bang, you're good. So, because they're doing that. I hear people all the time tell me, they're like, yo, I don't get notifications to your show, man. It's crazy. I'm like 5 shows behind, 10 shows behind. I'm like, yeah, they're screwing me. So, hope they are letting you know. Now, I'm going to get ready for my show with Scott Bernstein, where we're going to talk about murder in Detroit, in mayhem. Not just murder. That's the name. Wow. We in here now.